Hello, crafty friends. Welcome or welcome back to Jessie Kate Creates. I am Jessica, and in today's video, I have a project share for you. Sorry, guys, I know it's been a minute since I have posted a new video on my channel. I just lately have been busy prepping for craft fairs and doing a couple of craft fairs, so I've been doing a lot of crafting late at night, and I just have not had time to film and edit tutorials. So probably for the next 2 weeks, it's mostly going to be project shares on my channel so that I can share what I'm making with you guys. And then after that, we'll get back to doing some tutorials as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the card that I made and then get into the supplies that I used to make it. So I needed some Mother's Day cards for a show that I had this past weekend. So this is one of the cards that I made. I am in love with how this card turned out. There's a lot of glitter on it. I hope you can see all of the sparkle on the card. I know sometimes it can be hard to pick that up on camera, but I'm in love with how this turned out. This is not the card I initially had in mind. I was going for something floral but very simple, but I'm bad at simple. I want all of the texture and dimension and interest and sparkle. So yeah, not so simple, but a very pretty card. So let me show you the different supplies that I used to make it. For the background on the card, I hope you can see, it just has a very subtle embossed pattern in the background. And for that, I used this polka dot embossing folder. I believe this is a Park Lane embossing folder from Joann's. I picked this up a long time ago, a couple of years ago at this point, so I don't know if they still have it, but I will look, and if I can find it, I'll put it in the description box down below, along with all of the supplies that I used for this card. So this is what I used for the background. You could use any embossing folder that you have that's just nice and subtle in the background of this card. So next, the main image of this card was this flower. I really wanted this to be the showcase of the card. And for this, I used the Concord and 9th Fresh Cut Florals Edition 1 die set. So it gives you the dies to cut out the flower and then some, or the center of the flower, and then a leaf and little berries. And initially I was only gonna use this die set, but I thought it just needed a little bit of extra. So I cut out the flower. You cut this out twice and then you kind of layer them together and it gives you this really pretty floral. Now I did not use any foam tape on this card. I glued this down flat, but I did not glue any of the tips of the flower. I hope you can see that they're all kind of lifted up. I zhuzhed them up to give them some dimension, but because there's no foam tape, when you put them in an envelope, they'll kind of set down a little bit. So this will still be easy to mail, even though it has all this dimension on the card. So that's how I did that. And the funny thing really quick about this die set is that I actually did not pick this out. So a few months ago, Concord and 9th did a Christmas special, and I think they do this, I think they've done this the last few years, where it's like if you purchase a certain, like if you spend over X amount of dollars, you get like a free mystery bundle, right? And you don't know exactly what you're getting. And this was one of the items in the mystery bundle that I got. And I never would have picked this out for myself, but I'm glad I got it because I really love the floral that it creates. So that was that die set, and you can also see I used the leaves and the berries to add some foliage to the background. And initially that was the card, the flower, the leaves, and the berries. But then I decided it needed more flowers. It didn't look full enough. So to add extra florals, I used the Spellbinders. Yeah, this is Spellbinders Be Bold Blooms die set. This is a fantastic stash builder, which is the reason I got this. I noticed I had, this was months ago, I noticed I had a very large gap in my stash where I didn't really have a lot of floral dies. So I went ahead and picked up this set. Now you could recreate this card, I think, using just this die set maybe swap out this flower for this one here. And you can see there are a lot of other flowers and leaf imagery. So you definitely don't need the exact items that I use to make a similar card to this. Now with this die set, the only two dies that I used were this flower right here, and that cut out this floral and the centers. And then I also used these two right here, and that cut out these ones here, the kind of smaller ones. So there's a lot of images in here, but I only used these two dies. And then I decided I still needed some more smaller flowers, so I also grabbed the Spellbinders mini blooms and sprigs. These two complement each other really nicely. I picked them up at the same time for that reason. But the only die I used from this set was this tiny little flower here. And I used that for this guy right here, and this one on this side as well. So those are the flower images I used. Again, you don't have to use these exact same 3 floral die sets. Use whatever it is you already have in your stash to get, you know, the most bang out of the supplies that you already own. So those were all of the floral elements on the card. I did use my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen in crystal, which is just clear glitter. And I added that all over the petals of my flower. I also did, actually I should say, I shaded the edges of my petal first. And then after that had dried, I went in and used the glitter pen. And it ended up making these really cool little like streaks on the flower that are like extra detailed elements. That wasn't my intention, but it's what ended up happening when I added the glitter. And I really loved the detail that added. So it was a very happy accident. And I hope you can see here that there is glitter on all of the flowers on this card. I know sometimes it's hard to pick up on camera, so I hope you can see that pretty well. Oh, and then I'll also point out that on all of the leaves, the foliage, I did use a gel pen just to go in and add some dots and interest and extra details. And then I also added some accents with my gel pen in the center of the flower. Okay, so for the sentiment on this card, if you've been watching my channel for long, you know that I love vellum and I love gold, especially gold heat embossing. So that is how I did the sentiment. This sentiment, Flowers for Mom, comes from the Greetery Holding Hands stamp set. I picked this up when it was on clearance because I think they were retiring the stamp set out. I'm not sure if they still have it. If they do, I will definitely put a link in the description box so you can pick it up as well. I think they actually have a couple retired items on clearance right now, so you might want to give that a look. But I just used this Flowers for Mom sentiment. It's the only stamp I used from this set, so you could easily change this out for like Happy Mother's Day or something like that from another stamp set that you already own. So I heat embossed the sentiment onto a strip of vellum. And to adhere this to the card, I did not want to put glue directly on the sentiment because it would show through since it's vellum. So what I did instead, I cut, let me see if I can show you. I cut a little slit into my card base and I stuck the end of the vellum through the slit and just kind of wrapped it around the card. And I used tape runner to adhere it on the back. And then to cover up where I had adhered the vellum, I just added in a piece of white cardstock so that it looks nice and clean on the inside. So that's the front of the card. Now for the inside of the card, I did make my own sentiment that says, for a mother who is loving, strong, supportive, and all around amazing, you deserve all your flowers. Happy Mother's Day. So I had my sister help me come up with this sentiment. Shout out to you, Shar, if you're watching this video. I appreciate you so much for helping me with that. But to make this sentiment, I used Microsoft Publisher to kind of design it and make it look the way I wanted. I printed it out on a laser printer, and then that meant I was able to foil it with my Heidi Swap Mink hot foiling machine. So that's how I got this gold foiled sentiment on the inside of my card. I've been doing this more lately for a lot of my cards, making my own sentiments. If you want to see a video on how I do that, let me know. And in the next few weeks, I'll go ahead and try to make a video so you can kind of see that process. So that is the card. And I absolutely adore how this turned out. And then I paired this card with a gold envelope. I think this is so pretty. I got this from clearbags.com. It's just a really pretty gold envelope. I don't usually use fancy envelopes like this, but I knew that these cards were going to be sold for Mother's Day cards, and I wanted something that was kind of extra special, which is why I went with these gold envelopes, and I thought they complemented the card really nicely. Oh, and of course, I don't think I mentioned it, but I did go ahead and add some gold gems all over the card just for extra shine and sparkle. So that completes this card. Please let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Again, this was not the card that I set out to create, but I'm happy for the process, and this is what it ended up being, and I'm so happy and pleased with it. Now, if this card inspires you to make something similar, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you create with your supplies, because when you break this card down, it really is just a floral spray with a sentiment at the bottom. And I'm sure you have the supplies to make something similar like that in your stash. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you'll catch all of my future videos. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.